Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in this community, and today will be no different. Twickenham Fest. Have you heard about it? Perhaps you have and perhaps you haven't, but we're going to learn everything that we can about this awesome fest that's going to take place right here in this community one more time. And to talk to us about it is the Executive Director. She's Bronwyn Murray. Welcome to the broadcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Kenny.
It's good to have you, and it's great to be able to talk about this event. You know, one of the fun things I get to do when I do these shows, I learn about things that I have not heard a lot about in the past, and Twickenham Fest is one of those things. But I do know it's a weekend full of fun and fellowship and music and community coming together, so it really sounds like a great event that I want to learn all about, and I know that the listeners and viewers want to learn all about as well. So tell us what Twickenham Fest is, and maybe a little bit about the history of where it started and how it started.
Sure. So Twickenham Fest is a chamber music festival that is free to the public that takes place basically over a weekend, so Thursday through Sunday. We have 7 concerts available to the public, and it's now in its 8th year, which is very surprising to many people. Mm-hmm. It was founded by Susanna Phillips and Matthew McDonald, who are both Huntsville residents, who've kind of gone on to make it big in the classical music world. Mm-hmm. So Susanna is well known to many Huntsvillians because she is a singer at the Metropolitan Opera.
Which is pretty big.
Yes, she has really become one of the preeminent sopranos of her time.
Wow.
And we're very fortunate to have her here, I think, every year. She and Matt, the other co-founder that I mentioned, come back home to Huntsville, Alabama, and bring with them a whole entourage of other musicians that they have come across. And together they all make music at Twickenham Fest and provide these free concerts to the public.
It's pretty cool. You know, you hear about these kinds of experiences around the country of people who have are products of a community who kind of come back and share their gifts and talents. And Huntsville, of course, has some of that going on in some areas, but this, of course, is more unique because it focuses on chamber music, and it certainly sounds like a wonderful experience for people to come and have. Now, where does it take place?
So we have several locations where the concerts are going to happen over the course of that weekend, but we do predominantly have the concerts in downtown Huntsville. So we are at Nativity downtown one evening, and then we're at the Cooper House, was at the Presbyterian Church. And then we do have a really special concert this year for kids that takes place at the downtown library on Saturday morning.
Wow, so now that's real interesting. And by the way, those other places, some great venues where lots of good stuff happens in the community, but this whole incorporation of the children's piece, is this something new, or is this something that you all wanted to make sure you emphasize this year and really put a highlight on?
Sure. So this year, what we're doing, we're having all the musicians come and bring their instruments, and there are coordinated coloring sheets that display, you know, the bassoon or the oboe or the violin or the cello. And so as the musicians introduce their instruments to the children and talk about how they work and how they work with other instruments there in the lineup, the kids have these coloring sheets that they can work on to complete. So yes, we are really excited about this event this year. It happens Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at the downtown library.
Right, and so let's make sure we know which Saturday it is. It starts on Thursday, August 25th.
So I think that Saturday is the 25th.
Or the Saturday is the 25th, so we'll get our dates figured out here in just a moment. And I'll take your word for it because you're on telling me about what's happening. But if Saturday's the 25th, let's back it up a few days. And so it starts around the 22nd, I guess, or the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a kickoff event.
Which is a free event.
Mm-hmm. As are all of the concerts here with Twickenham Fest. We do ask that you reserve a seat at twickenhamfest.org. Mm-hmm. And that's also where you can check out the dates of the scheduled events. However, we do have a special event that Thursday evening that kicks us off, and it is geared towards young professionals.
Okay.
And it is completely new in our lineup this year. We've never done anything like it before. It's for an under 40 crowd. We've partnered with Nova Huntsville, the young professional group here in town, to provide kind of a more casual atmosphere to get connected to this chamber music that we're bringing here to town.
And where will that take place?
So that's at UG White, and that's also downtown. And to kind of kick off the evening, we've invited, I think we have 20 on the list of local nonprofits that are performing arts related. So there's an arts expo that precedes the concert that evening.
All right, so that includes some of the names that I think I saw, and I'm just going to name a few because these are groups that some people may be familiar with and others may not be as familiar, but certainly this list alone should generate a lot of excitement. You got the Huntsville Concert Band, the Huntsville Chamber Music Guild, the Huntsville Ballet Company and School, Independent Musical Productions Incorporated, that does lots of great plays throughout the year. Arts Huntsville, of course, our favorite of that whole group because they're just some special people over there. Randolph School Theater, Stand Up Live. Now, is that the comedy location?
It is, and we did include them.
Wow.
Because they are kind of a performing art, and certainly we, have a lot of entertainment value in seeing people get up there and tell funny stories, so we wanted to include them.
And they're actually bringing in some phenomenal talent. I mean, I've looked at their lineup, and they're just really bringing a nice variety of people and getting a lot of buzz in the community, so that's terrific. Arts Nova, Huntsville Symphony Orchestra, the Whedon House Museum and Garden, Flying Monkey Theater, which is over at Low Mill, where I've seen some great performances as well. I mean, you just got a great list of people that are going to be participating, and that alone, I think, is going to create a lot of energy around this process.
Certainly, and the concept of connecting young people in the community with places that they can see their performing arts and also opportunities to volunteer and get more involved was certainly the goal of that event.
Yeah, I think that's a win-win when you think about it in that sense. You have targeted audience, and then you have all these great aspects of the community that they can get connected to, either to witness a performance, volunteer and support the particular agencies, their nonprofits. They're really part of the lifeblood of the community in the same way that small business is the lifeblood of the larger business community. This is really, really super and really, really great that this is taking place. And of course, that event is going to have free cocktails and food. It's going to have some art. It's going to have Grammy award-winning musicians. It's going to have a lot of really good stuff happening that people should just be excited about.
That's right. We're super happy to introduce this event to Huntsville and really thank our partners, Nova Huntsville and also Arts Huntsville, for helping us put it together.
Now, if a baby boomer happens to stray in there, are they going to be turned away at the door?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
No.
I just got to speak up for my people because, we're interested in these things too. And we realize that there are events and that you have special events for certain people, young professionals, and that's a beautiful thing. We wouldn't want to turn any of them away, but I think I could fit in with the young professionals if I.
We would love to have you. I hope to see you there.
I might be able to slip away. I think that's council night, but I'll definitely try to slip around there for a minute and see what's going on. I'm very interested in that. What time does that start that night?
So that begins at 6 o'clock at UG White downtown.
Awesome. Just as council starts. So we'll figure out how I'm going to do that. Maybe we'll have a short council meeting that night now.
Hope so.
It'll break away and see what's going on. Now, Twickenham Fest, I'm seeing it's sponsored by Quantitech.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So I want to give them a shout out too, because to make these kinds of things happen and then make them free to the community is a huge thing, and something that, people like yourself that are familiar with these kinds of projects and these initiatives that work very diligently and passionately to bring them to the community really need partners to come alongside them in meaningful ways. And oftentimes that's bringing funds and other kinds of resources. So big shout out to Quantitech for making this possible.
Yeah, we're very glad that Sheila Brown's company, Quantitech, and their local government contractor, woman-owned, and they are super supportive, and really we feel very fortunate to have them as our sponsor for the Trill event.
Yeah, and I see this consistently throughout the community, how we have really, really great events in Huntsville, Madison County. We continue to reinvent things that, this whole notion of let's find ways to keep people engaged, to keep people entertained, to keep them excited about being here, to certainly speak to that millennial generation, young professionals. Let's find ways to really not just engage them, but to also provide a cultural experience for them that would be appealing to them and not make them always want to run to other cities to see things, which is perfectly fine. But Huntsville's big enough to have its own quality projects, and it really takes, again, companies in this community coming alongside the process to make that happen. So again, I'm gonna give a big shout out to Quantatech for making this happen. And again, in partnership with Nova Huntsville and others that are certainly making this thing possible. What is the future of Twickenham Fest? You're in your 8th year, and do you see this 8 years from now still happening with the 2 individuals who were founders? Do you see them still pouring their resources and their passion into this process?
Absolutely.
And even expanding a little bit?
Yes, certainly. And so that's going to be some of the conversations that we're going to have when we're all together here next week. But I and the other people involved with this project look to places like the Aspen Chamber Music Festival, the Santa Fe Chamber Music Festival. Boston also has one that is very well known. And these festivals are quite popular among a certain group of listeners, and they generate a lot of tourism, so it would be great for the city. And in addition to that, they actually last much longer than the weekend that we have of music. Many of our performers who are coming here with Twickenham Fest have appeared earlier in the year at the Aspen Music Festival. So there certainly is a lot of room for this project to become bigger, to be better known throughout the region. And I think that that is part of the direction that we will be talking about going in. With the talent that we have coming, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and it wouldn't hurt too, even now as we're talking about this, as people may be watching, if there's a potential sponsor out there or somebody who may be interested in cultivating a relationship with you and a sponsor, to say, this really sounds like a good thing for the city. This sounds like something I want to put my support behind. This is actually a good time to start even thinking about that, because as you grow and expand, you're going to need to have other people come alongside you, as Quantatech has already stepped up. You would love to see other people who are out there who might be looking for an opportunity to come alongside an organization to make something like this happen.
Absolutely. We need always the support of the community.
Yeah, well, that's, first and foremost, above all things, the thing that really keeps these things running. The idea that whether it's a nonprofit organization with a volunteer board that pours their heart and soul into the organization, a private donor or a business, public donor that actually provides resources to somebody to make it happen, or somebody who just stands on the sideline and says, just keep up the good work. We need encouragers as well in that process to keep the engine moving forward, and that's extremely important. Bronwyn Murray is the Executive Director of Twickenham Fest. Again, before we finish our conversation, let people know when this takes place again, where it takes place, and how they can get more information.
So first of all, more information is available at twickenhamfest.org. And we're going to be kicking it off Thursday, August 24th, and we run through Sunday, August 27th. It's a series of 7 free concerts for the community of classical music.
All right. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, and sounds like something that people should certainly be putting down on their calendars, even as we speak. Bronwyn, thank you for being here with us today and having this great conversation, letting us know all about this awesome event.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Twickenham Fest, 2 words that should be on your lips right now, and you should be getting really excited about it because it's happening very, very soon now. Actually, it's going to happen this week. So you want to make sure that you put that down on your calendar beginning this Thursday. It's all free and it's open to the public, and it's twickenhamfest.org, I think. Was that what you said? Okay. I think I see her shaking her head like this. That's my peripheral vision at work. We hope that you've enjoyed the video that you just saw, and that you will also check out or take the time to check out the Impact with Kenny Anderson Facebook page that will have that video on it, as well as some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens once the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a great day.